This is going to be a slow process, and we have to reward them as they do something that's improvement. We're not going to have this 100% attendance or 100% out of the office right away. But they've got to have some small successes along the way for this to work.
These are some components we have found in a successful discipline plan. I think we usually have the most reaction to the one about incentives for students and staff. So I do want to encourage you to, again, when you get with your collaboration coaches, we've got lots of ideas that have been implemented in the last 5 years that don't cost money. Some of them are, when you think about what students and staff like, if I've had some schools that have school uniforms, so an incentive for attendance, and you would define, of course, a period of time, like a month or whatever, for good attendance or improved behavior, the student maybe could have a uniform-free day. And we actually found that worked well with the faculty also, that they could have dress-down days. That was really very encouraging for the schools I've been with as an incentive for your faculty. Another one was, and this could be all levels, was the flash pass that Debbie talked about in her school, where if a student meets a certain goal, again, if it's attendance or behavior, they have a flash pass, which means in the lunch line, they go right to the front of the line. And this has been something the kids have responded to. So please don't think it always has to be some tangible money-costing reward. At the upper levels, we've used passes to different football games or different sports events. So there are other things that we can use. When you have some team time, go through this list with your members and look at what components you do want to add to your discipline plan, and there may be some that you don't or some that are already in there. Another question that comes up when we're talking about the same expectations school-wide is how do you get faculty buy-in, because you do have some faculty that are not bought in. I think it's very important that it starts from the administration on down. If you're supportive of it and you show that it means something, many times your faculty will have buy-in. Now at Debbie's school they found that it started at the teacher level, where the teachers were doing certain things and they showed that the behavior was improving, and that helped convince the rest of the faculty. With your team, brainstorm ways to get faculty buy-in to participate in the school-wide programs, to be on the same page with your discipline policy. How can you address these issues, and what can you use to encourage and get your total faculty being involved? Let's listen to this one idea shortly, concisely, on faculty buy-in and how to encourage it in your school. Say your school first.
So at High Point Elementary, we really were talking more about the challenges that we face in some of our schools in Fulton County, where the demographics of the school and the challenges that the students have that are coming to the school have changed and evolved, and some of the teachers have not, and what challenges that creates for a staff when folks don't have the skills, nor do they want to learn the skills that they need to have to be able to understand how to deal with the challenges of students. And so we talked about those challenges and working through those with training, accountability, things that you need to do and provide as a leader to make sure that you're taking care of your students.
One of the middle schools that I worked with, the assistant principal was actually put in charge of the PBIS system there within his school. And what he did, every time he had a team meeting, he took the data from the PBIS Swiss program at that point in time is what they were using, and he would print out reports and give to those teachers so they could see the progress that was being made, because in the classroom sometimes with everything going on and all the changes that you're trying to make with just starting that program, you may not feel like it's really working for you, but once they could see the data and see that the referrals were down, then that helped them continue to try this program and keep it in place and keep it moving. I also had one teacher on our team at that particular middle school, and he knew it wasn't going to work. He was part of our team. He's supposed to be having to promote this thing, you understand? Okay, well, he just knew it wasn't going to work. So he went to his classroom before we actually got it in place within the school and did his own little reward system so that he could prove to us as a team that it wasn't going to work, and it worked for him. And so That made a huge difference because then he could actually spread that news amongst his friends in the middle school.
If your faculty, they didn't feel they had to convince the faculty, they just showed them the data showing that this particular class, the students weren't attending or had problems with behavior. These are some more questions you want to discuss with your team and that you want to look at and take back with you. You'll be collecting some data on in-school, out-of-school suspension, but you may want more, and you may want it, of course, specific by teacher. We just wanted to sum up this segment saying that positive discipline is consistent with IDEA and that it will help you eliminate the need for the suspensions and the expulsions, ISS, OSS.
Okay, this segment is talking about attendance and how it relates. This first slide is showing you historically, and it's continuing into the present. So across the years, and we asked you earlier how many of you were elementary, middle, and high school. High school folks, 80% of students who dropped out of high school were chronically absent in the year in which they dropped out. Chronically absent, we're referring to that state law, state rule about 15 plus days absent. Those are the chronically absent. Did it just start that year of their 16th birthday? No. So we can't blame the high school folks for dropping out. Students in 6th grade who did not attend school regularly were found to have only a 14% chance of graduating on time or within 1 extra year. The pattern is there in your middle school for potentially dropping out of school. Dropouts could be distinguished from graduates with 66% accuracy by 3rd grade by using the attendance data. This is research showing by 3rd grade you can look at attendance for your students and with 66% accuracy predict who might be dropping out. Probably the attendance records, looking at them from kindergarten on, what's happening to these students. And again, this research is from the National Dropout Prevention Center for Students with Disabilities. You have an article on your table, do they? You have an article on your table. If you will pick up that article, it's entitled, Absent and Suspended City Students Falling Further Behind. It's from the Baltimore Sun. And this article is dated July 15th, so it's real current. It's as of Sunday. You're going to read this as teams. If your school team or table team, at your table, choose which ones of you are going to read the first half and which ones of you are going to read the second half. And then you're going to have a discussion at your table, sharing the different portions of the article with each other.
One thing that we noticed in the article was that the author mentioned that the absenteeism equated low or gaps in test scores. Also on the back, they indicated that some systems seem to use suspensions as a last resort, or some administrators or people feel like if you push students out that your test scores will rise, but that's not the case if you clear it out for those other students. So that's something, 2 things that stood out for our group.